Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into the only Harley-Davidson that ever came with a recoil rope starter, 12-inch scooter wheels, and the ability to make grown men say, "Wait, Harley built that?" Yes, it's true. Somewhere between Elvis and Evelyn Neville, the boys in Milwaukee built a scooter. And not just any scooter. This one could take a tiny, rarely seen accessory sidecar, packed a two-stroke engine, and had the kind of acceleration you'd expect from a wounded turtle carrying groceries. I'm talking about the one and only Harley-Davidson Topper. Before we twist the throttle into this delicious slice of scooter history, hit that subscribe button like you're starting a topper with a cold pull cord on a frosty morning. Because on Timmy Tiny Wheels, we celebrate the weird, the rare, and the hilariously underpowered. Let's roll. Now, picture this. It's 1960. America's booming. Chrome is king. And Harley-Davidson has just looked across the ocean and seen millions of Europeans scooting about on Vespas and Lambrettas. The streets are humming with people who want mobility without mortgaging the farm or putting on leather chaps. Back in Milwaukee, a few clever minds, including then-President William H. Davidson, asked the unthinkable. What if we built something small? Enter the Topper. Designed and manufactured right at Harley's Juneau Avenue facility in Wisconsin, the Topper was their moonshot into the land of casual commuting. It wasn't for bikers, it was for teenagers, moms, delivery folks. Heck, even Bob, my neighbor, would have ridden one if he weren't convinced scooters attract government surveillance drones. The goal was clear: make it cheap, cheerful, and as approachable as a slice of Midwestern apple pie. Advertised as the giftiest, thriftiest transportation, the Topper hit dealerships in 1960 with a two-tone paint job and a friendly silhouette. Prototypes were rolling by 1959, just before Harley bought a 50% stake in Ermaki's motorcycle division in 1960. Of course, as with all great experiments, there were hiccups. The engine was tucked beneath the rider's feet, and assumed air would just magically cool it. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Overheating was an issue, especially in traffic. But Harley listened, and by 1961, they introduced the improved Topper H model, with a higher compression alloy head and sealed drive system to fend off the gravel and grit of America's streets. There was even a detuned U version with just 5 horsepower designed to meet moped laws in some states. It could legally be ridden by teenagers, unlicensed adults, or anyone who thought 46 Sepidumik was just too darn fast. Yet even with these tweaks, the Topper never quite topped. With the Japanese invasion kicking off, Honda's Super Cub was redefining everything with its 4-stroke engine and ironclad reliability. Harley's plucky little scooter struggled to find love. Traditional Harley riders scoffed, new riders looked east, and by 1965, the Topper bowed out. Harley and Cushman both exited the scooter stage the same year, closing the curtain on America's brief flirtation with step-through chic. Now, let's pull the fiberglass cowling off and peek under the seat, shall we? The Topper came with a 165cc or 10.1 cubic inch two-stroke single-cylinder engine mounted horizontally under the floorboards. It made about 9 horsepower in standard form, with the U version detuned to 5 horses. It featured reed valve induction, a rather advanced touch at the time, and a compression ratio that went from 6.6.1 in early versions to 8.0.1 in the later H model. Fuel was pre-mixed gas and oil, which meant you carried a little bottle of two-stroke juice in the underseat tray, like a mobile bartender for lawn equipment. Speaking of starting it, no kick lever, no electric button. Just a good old rope pull. Yep, like starting your neighbor's chainsaw. But Harley, ever the clever engineer, fitted a secondary set of points so you could advance the spark for rope starts, making it less likely to yank your arm out of its socket. Power was sent through a continuously variable transmission called scooterway drive. Basically, it was a belt-driven CVT that automatically adjusted ratios without requiring any shifting or clutch work. It was like cruise control for people with zero experience and even less patience. A safety feature in the scooterway drive kept it from moving off if you revved past about 1/800 revolutions per minute while stationary. No accidental parking lot launches into hot dog stands. The CVT's output fed a side-mounted chain that spun the rear wheel. Yes, chain final drive on a scooter. Just one more way, the Topper said, "I do things my own weird way." The chassis was a pressed steel platform that doubled as the body, paired with a leading link fork up front and a swing arm at the back. Up front, it used a leading link with a single extension spring and a small shock absorber. Out back, the swing arm rode on 2 extension springs with no hydraulic dampers in sight. It made the ride soft and serviceable, if not exactly Cadillac smooth. Stopping power came from 5-inch drum brakes, front and rear. The front brake was hand-operated, and get this, the rear brake was a foot pedal on the right floorboard, just like a car. Wheels were big for a scooter, 12-inch, with 4.00 to 12 tires. That helped stability, especially on America's rougher roads. Overall length was about 6.3, width 2 feet, and wheelbase 51.5 inches. It weighed roughly 250 pounds, thanks to its steel and fiberglass mix. That fiberglass engine cover was unusual for 1960, but helped save a few pounds, kind of like Bob's plan to lose weight by cutting out mayonnaise on every 5th sandwich. The styling was neat and tidy, steel front fender and floorboards, a smooth fiberglass tail, and a roomy bench seat. Under that seat, a big storage area, a quart of 2-stroke oil, and maybe a half-melted peanut butter sandwich. A luggage rack was optional, and for the bold or the delusional dealers, could fit LA Sidecar Company attachments. A pint-size utility box, or a 2-seat sidecar that turned your Topper into the slowest 3-wheeler this side of a duck parade. Performance? Well, it wasn't winning any drag races. Top speed hovered around 46 mph, or 74 kilometers to h if the wind was with you and your lunch was light. But fuel economy was a strong point. Harley claimed up to 100 miles per gallon, making it a frugal friend in tough times. Acceleration was, let's say, contemplative. But one Topper did famously climb from Death Valley to Mount Whitney in one go, proof that under the cute fiberglass shell was a tough little machine. Harley's design philosophy was all about approachability. The Topper had no exposed engine fins, no clutch lever, no intimidating roar. It didn't even try to look dangerous. This was the motorcycle equivalent of a friendly wave from a neighbor who brings you banana bread and then tries to sell you an insurance policy. And for suburban America in the early 1960s, that was the point. Harley was trying to woo the untapped market of scooter-curious riders who didn't want anything too greasy or loud. And now, folks, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's talk cash. Back in the day, a brand-new Topper cost around $350 to $450. That's about $3,500 to $5,000 in today's money, roughly the price of a new refrigerator with Wi-Fi that nags you when you forget the eggs. Fast forward to modern auctions, and the Topper has found a second wind among collectors. In July 2025, a beautifully restored 1962 Topper AH sold for $11,300 on Bring a Trailer. That's right, a scooter that once struggled to get uphill without apologizing now fetches 5 figures. Most clean, running examples today go for $5,000 to $7,000, with project bikes starting around $1,000, assuming you're okay with a little rust, some parts hunting, and maybe a squirrel living under the seat. The rare U variant or any model with a factory sidecar commands even more. Because when you show up to a rally with a Harley Topper and a working sidecar, you don't just arrive, you arrive ironically. Friends, if you enjoyed this little scooter saga, slap that subscribe button like it owes you lunch money. Future Ride is here every week, bringing you machines that made history, even the ones that forgot to bring a cooling fan.